Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Classified Captures. Steve here, and today we've got a collection of clips ranging from human-Z's to the unveiling of a robot that may just replace you in the future. Ready? Let's jump in. Bigfoot is a legendary creature that has fascinated people for many years. It's often described as a tall, furry creature with a human-like face and ape-like features. Recently, a video was shared online by someone who claimed to have recorded it near a cave in Cabo, Mexico. The video footage shows a dark figure emerging from the cave. While the video quality is not the best, the poster believes that what he captured was a Bigfoot. However, opinions on the authenticity of the footage are divided. In fact, a majority of those who saw it refused to believe that it was a Bigfoot. Their tone suggested they believed the whole thing was a hoax. One commenter even suggested that it could be a human giant, which is understandable because he looks more human than an ape. But then again, we're not exactly sure if he's large enough to be called a giant. What do you guys think? Do you subscribe to the idea that there are alien bases scattered all around our planet? Well, before you say yes or no, you might want to watch this next clip. In the clip, we see a mysterious curve above the ocean that appears to be transparent. Naturally, once this was posted online, questions were asked and debates were started. Some were in favor of it being an actual cloaked UFO, whilst others thought that there had to be a logical explanation for the whole thing. The skeptical ones suggested that it could simply be fog. Take this comment, for instance. It does make a lot of sense scientifically, but then again, maybe, just maybe, the government paid me to make you think that. While exploring the shores of Norfolk, a man stumbled upon an unusual discovery. He found the dried-up remains of a creature that had washed up on a beach. Upon closer inspection, it became apparent that the creature had a human-like upper torso and a fish-like lower torso. This led the man, like many others, to believe that the creature was a mermaid, a mystical creature of the sea often depicted in folklore and popular culture. However, not everyone is convinced of the mermaid theory. Some skeptics believe that the remains could belong to a manatee or a sea lion, both of which are known to inhabit the waters in the region. However, the skull of the creature looks more human, so that's debatable. Others have even suggested that the remains could be a clever hoax designed to attract attention and media coverage. I mean, I can see why they'd think that. If you pay attention, you'll notice only the creature's skeleton was left, but somehow there was enough of its tail left to allow us to identify it as a mermaid. Unless the tales of merfolk are bitter and undesirable, it makes the whole thing rather suspicious. Anyway, what's your take on the whole thing? Like many others, I'm convinced that humans coexist with other entities and creatures in the world. And while some may be supernatural, not everything falls under this category. Nature is a thing of beauty, and some phenomena can appear almost mystical, but they have natural explanations. For example, consider this footage of a strange shadowy figure with a rainbow halo on its head. At first sight, it may look like an angel or some sort of spiritual entity, but in reality, it's a Brocken specter. For those unfamiliar with it, it's a natural optical illusion that occurs when someone stands at a high place, such as a mountain peak or tall building, and sees their own shadow on mist or fog below. This phenomenon makes the shadow appear considerably larger and surrounded by colored rings or halos similar to a rainbow. It happens because light interacts with water droplets or ice crystals in the mist, scattering and diffracting the light. The name Brocken specter comes from the Brocken, which is the highest peak in Germany's Harz Mountains, where it was first seen. Although the Brocken specter is often associated with folklore and ghost stories, it's nothing more than a trick of light in the atmosphere. Nature can create remarkable occurrences, and the Brocken specter is one such example. It's a beautiful reminder of the wonders of our planet. Have you had such an experience? Care to share it in the comments section. In the beautiful Bluestone Resort located in Wales, an unusual sighting was captured on camera by a person on a boat who was filming. The clip shows a figure in the water resembling a woman with long hair, but within seconds, a fishtail appeared swishing behind her as she dove into the water. Naturally, this led to a buzz online, and some stated that the resort confirmed this actually happened. While we can't confirm the resort bit, we can analyze the clip ourselves to ascertain for ourselves if this is the real deal. I showed the clip to our in-house video editor, and he stated that the mermaid living in the water looks like an element that was inserted into the clip and color graded to look like it fit in. But it doesn't. In simpler words, this appears to be a clip that was edited to create the impression that a mermaid was captured at the resort. But why would someone do that? Well, we don't know, but it can range from causing a public uproar to driving traffic to the resort. Whatever the case, my team doesn't believe it's true. But what about you? What do you see when you look at the clip? Paranormal enthusiasts consider hospitals to be some of the most haunted places on Earth, often because of the number of deaths that occur within their walls. With that in mind, imagine the level of paranormal activity that an abandoned hospital would have. A young lady decided to explore an abandoned hospital, and it turned out to be more than she could handle. As she was walking down a long, dimly lit hallway, she suddenly noticed something moving out of the corner of her eye. It was a bed, slowly but steadily moving toward her. The bed was not only moving in a jerky or aggressive manner, but rather it was moving smoothly and steadily, as if being guided by an unknown force. Some people speculated that the floor was sloping, which is why the bed was able to move away. And when you take a second look, it really does appear to be on a slope. Is that enough reason, though? Why did the bed wait till she was inside to start sloping down? How did it also get to the top of the slope and start coming down the moment she entered? Too convenient for a coincidence, don't you think? Unless, of course, the whole thing was a setup. We don't have enough evidence to prove or disprove that, so we're going to leave it there. The woman filming the incident appeared to be remarkably calm, but it was nonetheless an eerie situation if it's indeed true. Anyway, what do you think?
Miren esa camisa anda sola, chicos. Con los pelos de punta. Mira.
Local chamado Morro do Padre, onde aqui nós encontramos uma baleia imensa.
In 2019, marine biologists in Brazil were surprised to find a young humpback whale washed ashore on Maranhão Island in the Amazon River. The whale, about 26 feet long, was much smaller than usual, indicating that it was a youngling. The sea mammal was far from its expected feeding grounds near Antarctica, about 4,000 miles away. Humpback whales typically migrate south to Antarctica during the summer months to feed on krill and fish. Finding one so far north in February was unusual. Scientists were puzzled by its deviation from the normal migration route. Various theories were proposed to explain its presence, including disorientation or illness, but none were conclusive. The cause of its death also remained uncertain, although it had been dead for several days when discovered. I'm not one for conspiracy theories, but I'm pretty sure we could easily fit one in here if we wanted. Anyway, I think this was a good-natured break. Now, back to the paranormal stuff. What you are seeing on your screen is the skeletal remains of an unknown creature. It appears to be a small creature with a fish-like tail. Now, what creature do we know that's part human and part fish? But mermaids aren't so small, are they? Well, the one who discovered it thinks it might be a juvenile mermaid. Could this be the real deal? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I've seen a lot of strange things in my day, but this next clip might take the crown. Have you ever heard the term humanzee? No? Well, meet Oliver. If you haven't guessed already, a humanzee is a term that refers to a hypothetical hybrid offspring resulting from the mating of a human with a chimpanzee, and Oliver is suspected to be one of those. Looking at the primate, you can already tell that there is an eerie air around him. He doesn't look or act naturally. When I say naturally, I mean the way most chimps act. His existence has baffled scientific professionals for years. Even a psychologist named Professor Gordon openly admitted he thought Oliver was a humanzee the first time he saw him due to the way he behaved and acted. For a scientist to openly admit something like that, you should know it's serious. He has a head smaller than other chimpanzees with a jaw that's not so pronounced. He has rounded ears instead of the typical pointed ears associated with his kind, with a scent or smell that's not typically found among his kind. Oliver was so strange that even his own kind avoided him, and he also preferred to be with humans. He preferred to always walk up instead and could do it for prolonged periods than was typically associated with his kind. Naturally, all these anomalies got him onto the radar of the scientific community. He was brought over from Africa and lived with Frank Berger and his family for the first 16 years of his life. Mrs. Berger stated that Oliver one day stood up around 5 or 6 months old and began a walk. Chimps should be able to only take a few steps upright due to the way their hips are, but not Oliver. Walking was second nature to him. According to Mrs. Berger, Oliver typically walked into the house, sat down, watched television, and even smoked cigars with Mr. Berger. He even performed chores. By 16, other traits were starting to come into play, including sexual ones. He took a liking to Mrs. Berger and even one time bent her over. He became a danger to his mom and had to be relocated. Turns out we weren't the only ones interested in determining if he was fully chimp or had human DNA. Some genetic testing was carried out, and it showed that Oliver was a pure breed chimpanzee with no evidence of human DNA. Despite the scientific evidence, Oliver continued to be a subject of fascination and speculation, and his story contributed to ongoing discussions about the relationship between humans and other primates. Not many believed that these tests were ever carried out. They believe it's just a way to kill the subject in discussion. Is that truly the case? Well, we may never know. Oliver lived out his life in various sanctuaries and animal facilities until his death in 2012. Weird, huh? Still on strange creatures, take a look at this one. Now, this particular clip had us staring at our screens for minutes and combing the internet for hours. We tried to find what it was, but after lots of research and paranormal community visitation, we discovered one thing. Everyone else we knew was also looking for what this thing might be. Does any of you know what it is? If you do, can you help? Some members of my team think it's an undiscovered species of some sort, while others think it's an alien. However, without further info, we can't really tell what it is. Can you help? Puzzled? I was too. I was trying to understand why everyone was running and just couldn't put my finger on it until I saw the guy in the clip literally put his finger on it. People were apparently running because of this cloud. It looks like a cloud with a man standing on it. I don't know, but the last time I checked, something like this shouldn't scare that many grown adults, unless, of course, there's something I'm not seeing or the clip is fake. What do you think is the case? Share your thoughts in the comments section. One of our subscribers sent this in. He or she was freaked out and wanted to know why the meat was acting as such and if it was normal. If you pay attention to the clip, you'll notice that the meat appears to be moving or breathing anytime it's cut, which to many is weird. The first time I saw something like this, it freaked me out till I did the research. Once the research was done, I understood the phenomenon and it calmed me down. I even shared it in one of the videos on this channel. So instead of telling you what it is, can anyone here remember the explanation I gave for this phenomenon? If anyone can tell me what I said about the phenomenon and which episode I said it in, they get something special from me. This is impromptu, but I'm introducing this as the quiz segment. Type your answer and start with the word quiz. The first person to answer rightly and tell me the episode gets something special. I'll be reading the comments. A hint, by the way, the meat isn't possessed. Next, we have another mysterious capture. What do you think this is? It's hard to tell, right? It appears to have the features of different creatures put together. The first thing that came to mind was bacon. Pork. Pig. Yes, pig. I don't know where those other words came from. But take a second look. I don't know if it is a pig. Yes, the skin and build are reminiscent of a pig, but pigs don't have faces like that, and neither do they have claws and hands like that. Others think it's a seal, but I don't know, it just doesn't add up. Does anyone know what this could be? Could you share this in the comments sections? We'd really love to know. What's life without a little danger and excitement? Boring, right? That's why we invented things like Ferris wheels to give us a kick of excitement. Seeing things like this, however, sometimes make boring look the best alternative. I've seen strange and bizarre things on Ferris wheels, but sights like this make my stomach churn. My team thinks not. They believe that the weight of a human would have weighted down enough to not spin like that. But I just can't help but imagine what would have happened if a human was in it. Now, this isn't an everyday occurrence. This clip was apparently taken during gusts of magnitude 6 to 8 with heavy rain in Chongqing on the 28th of April. Thankfully, the spinning was all that occurred. I don't even want to imagine what could have gone wrong. It's truly fascinating how humans from different parts of the world have evolved distinct facial and physical features that adapt to their environment, such as Africans, Caucasians, and Asians. I recently, however, came across this incredible footage of the Jew Hanze tribe, a group of indigenous hunter-gatherer people from South Africa, which blew my mind. They are one of the few remaining traditional hunter-gatherer groups in Africa known for their unique way of life and deep understanding of the desert environment. As you observe their facial features in the footage, you'll notice the resemblance they bear to Asian people. The shape of their eyes, nose, and mouth is strikingly similar to that of many Asian ethnicities. Could this be a clue to a possible connection between them? Could there be a historical or genetic link that has been lost over time, perhaps through evolution? Many who saw it thought that modern-day Asians are descendants of these folks. Well, that sounds interesting. I don't know how true or feasible it is. Can our anthropologists on this channel help us out with this? In the city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, an unusual object was captured in the night sky by a witness.
What is that?
This object was described as a neon blue vertically shaped craft that was slowly descending from the sky. The object appeared to move with a sense of purpose, as though it had a mind of its own. As it approached the water's surface, it descended even more slowly, as if it were carefully surveying the area. Eventually, the object dipped into the water, and observers saw that it was just as careful in its movements as when it was in the air. After a short while, the object slowly emerged from the water and went back into the sky. Many who saw the clip suggested that it was nothing more than an LED light attached to a drone or kite. This seemed a little logical, but then again, there were no drone sounds. One commenter claimed to have seen the same object in Halifax. What do you think, though? What do you see when you look at the clip?
Taking a piss.
Next, let's delve into the advancements made in the fields of robotic technology. Meet Figure 01, a remarkable robot created using NVIDIA GPU technology. This robot is a testament to the extraordinary progress made in artificial intelligence and machine learning. What sets this robot apart is its ability to reason autonomously. For instance, it can identify and choose the healthier option when presented with a choice. When the interviewer asked the robot to give him something healthy from a bag of oranges and a packet of snacks, the robot picked up the orange and handed it to the man. This is a remarkable feat that showcases the robot's advanced cognitive abilities. The funny thing is, this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the potential of this robot. It can perform a wide range of tasks that can make jobs faster and more efficient. But as with any new technology, there are concerns about how these robots will impact our daily lives. The masses fear that these robots may take over our jobs and eventually our world. Are these fears legit, or do they think they're seeing things that aren't there? Share your thoughts. What do you do when you hear strange sounds coming from your ceiling? You search, of course, but what happens when you search for weeks on end without finding anything? Obviously, that wouldn't feel good, and that's exactly what happened to the lady who recorded the clip you're seeing. She had been hearing rustling and footsteps in her ceiling for weeks. She had conducted several searches and found nothing. Until this happens. Yep, that's definitely not normal looking. It looks like a humanoid hand, yet at the same time it doesn't appear to have human characteristics. This freaked the woman out, and she shared this with the paranormal community. Naturally, some thought it was a cryptid or some other paranormal creature. After digging around, though, a majority of the paranormal community came out to state that this was nothing more than a raccoon. Looking at it, I get where they are coming from, but what do you guys also think? Could it be nothing more than a raccoon? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Next, let's dive into this spine-chilling clip. This dog owner was enjoying some time with his canine pal until the dog started acting like this. It was growling whilst focusing intently on one corner of the room. As the dog trembled with unease, the owner, unable to perceive the supposed threat, grappled with the unsettling reality that their canine companion could have sensed something beyond our physical plane. He thinks the dog may have sensed a ghost, which, when you think about it, isn't too impossible. Animals are known to be quite sensitive to energies and entities beyond human detection, and this situation right here might just have proven that fact, unless you think there's a more logical explanation. Anyway, care to share your thoughts? In this mystifying video, a diligent worker is carefully placing boxes on a shelf when, without warning, the boxes decide to defy gravity and tumble off the shelves on their own. This is bizarre and, quite frankly, a bit upsetting, yet this is just the beginning of a series of strange events. As the worker tries to make sense of the situation, something else happens. An unseen force pushes down some more boxes and takes control of his body and then drags him around as though he were a piece of paper. He told his managers, who didn't believe him until the CCTV footage was reviewed and this was seen. What do you think could be happening here? Are we dealing with a supernatural presence, a glitch in the fabric of reality, or perhaps a manifestation of undiscovered energies within the walls of the warehouse? Share your thoughts. Nature's throwing us another curveball, and this time it's ants staging a weird forest dance. Imagine stumbling upon this oddity in the heart of the woods, a bunch of ants locked in a mysterious circle, all hustling around a peculiar white stone. Now, animals are like Mother Nature's early warning system, right? So when you spot ants behaving like they just discovered the insect version of a dance floor, it's bound to raise some eyebrows. They're all in this circular hustle, seemingly fixated on a white stone at the center, and there's the strange white fluid on the grass, adding an extra layer of intrigue. What's the deal, Mother Nature? Is this an ant rave or a secret insect council meeting? Are they summoning ant deities, or is it just an oddly organized ant picnic? This diver just looked at death in the face, and I mean literally. She had strapped on her diving suit and was a second away from jumping into the sea when she spotted a huge creature emerging from the water. She backed down and moved backwards, only to see a huge shark with its mouth wide open waiting for her to jump right in. Thankfully, quick thinking and a sixth sense saved her from going on an involuntary shark date. It's like a real-life thriller, The Diver Who Dodged Jaws. Note to self, sometimes it's okay to bail on that daring dive if your gut says, no, well, yeah, maybe not today. Next, we have a clip from this woman who is just kicking it in her apartment one night, probably getting ready for bed or whatever, when she happens to glance out of her window up at the mountains.
Realmente no estoy buscando seguidores. Como pueden ver en todas mis fotos y videos.
That's when she sees this totally trippy display. These glowing blue lines, almost like tentacles, slithering and undulating across the sky. She whips out her phone to record the whole mind-bending scene through the glass. It's both eerily beautiful and downright bizarre. You still have to wonder, though, what could be responsible for causing something like that? Are we talking about legit paranormal activity here? Maybe some ethereal spirits just glazing across the night sky, leaving these glowing trails in their wake? Or is there more to it? Gives me chills just thinking about it. Julius and his skeptic kind, however, think it might be some weird trick of the light, like reflections bouncing off her window from inside her place. Very boring explanation, but possible, I suppose. Does it feel unexplainable? Well, maybe. Is it insanely cool? 100%. Anyway, you guys have seen it now. What do you also think about it? Just a quick reminder before the next clip comes, if you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed, could you do so right now? You wouldn't want me to send a Bigfoot after you now, would you? This guy is out taking a casual stroll through the woods, nothing out of the ordinary, but then he gets this distinct feeling like something's off, that creepy sense of being watched and not being alone. On instinct, he turns around to see what's going on. That's when he spots it. This bizarre black sphere just hovering in the air, traveling right behind him like some kind of sinister follower. It's giving me, evil red balloon from It vibes, you know. Part intrigued but mostly freaked out, the guy quickly whips out his phone to record this weird phenomena. The sphere seems to have a mind of its own, drifting in this really unsettling, unnatural way. The whole atmosphere is tense and ominous. Without warning, the black sphere suddenly charges straight at the man, moving through the air at an inhuman speed, accompanied by this bizarre roaring sound. You can hear the guy's terrified yell just before the footage abruptly cuts out, leaving you to wonder what the hell just happened. What do you think this mysterious black sphere could be? More importantly, How would you react if you came face to sphere with something that's sinister and bizarre looking on a casual wood stroll? Julius thinks it might be CGI generated because the leaves don't move when it touches them, but, well, what do you think? What a man thought would be some quality bonding time with his son ended with them running out of the woods in terror. This man had gone walking with his little boy in the woods. As they had settled in an area just enjoying nature, the man heard some footsteps behind him, so he took out his camera and started looking around. That is when he caught a glimpse of a dark figure feet away from them. The man didn't see what it was, but something in him just told him to get the hell out of there. Without wasting time, he told his son to start running while he followed behind. They ran for a while and came to a stop. When he looked back, he saw that the dark figure was still after them, but luckily they had put a safe distance between them and it. To this day, no one knows what was there, but the man's instincts proved that whatever it was not safe to be around it. A taxi driver was parked on the side of the road when something scares him out of his car. Initially, he was making a phone call when he saw something in the rearview mirror moving behind him. Being the only one in the car, he quickly turned to look at what it was, and there he saw his answer, the ghostly face of a child looking back at him. The face was pale and had dark circles around its eyes. Once he saw what he saw, the scared man rushed out of the car. Fortunately, or not, the security camera in the car was on, so it captured the ghostly intruder. When he finally mustered the courage to go back to the vehicle, he reviewed the footage and asked the paranormal experts online for clarity. So what do you think? Next, we get a glimpse of the future right in someone's backyard. This man has crafted a shield that's definitely worthy of the name camouflage. You notice that the shield makes him invisible as soon as he stands behind it. This is the kind of stuff you see in movies and games, but this man has really built it. Yeah, he's actually done it. A shield more practical than Captain America's. Imagine the possibilities, the untapped potential of technology. It could change the law enforcement and military game for good. But if the man could create this, what could those big shot tech companies be cooking up behind their closed doors? This mysterious clip has had the whole paranormal community talking. I mean, it's not often you see a creature like this moving across a river in the heart of the woods. What creature is it? Well, if you have been on this page long enough, then you definitely know I'm going to call that out to be a Bigfoot. I mean, the bipedal form and the fur are dead giveaways. The question is, where was this taken and was it alone? Now, what do we have here? Some possessed insect? Well, that's what I thought when I saw it, but turns out this creature is what we call a wasp-mantid fly. Just imagine a wasp and a praying mantis deciding to have a bizarre love child. That's the wasp-mantid fly for you. It's got the sleek, slender body of a wasp, but those front legs, pure mantis vibes. It looks like the insect world decided to experiment with genetic fusion just to keep things interesting. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. This critter is a bit of a predator with the taste for small insects and larvae. When it's mealtime, it goes all ninja with those mantis-like legs, snatching up its prey with precision. But wait, there's more. The wasp-mantid fly has a neat trick up its sleeve. It's able to mimic the appearance of wasps, rocking the yellow and black colors to confuse both predators and unsuspecting prey. Let's just say that if you lived in the insect world, this would be the last creature you would want to encounter. All right, hold up. Are we witnessing the return of medieval shenanigans or what? Forget humans wrestling humans. Apparently, we're going back to the days when folks grappled with bears for kicks. Two beings, one human, one bear, having what seems like the weirdest playdate ever. And get this, they both looked like they were having a blast. It's like a bizarre version of Fight Club, where the first rule is apparently have fun. Now, call me crazy, but I thought we'd moved on from wrestling with bears. Wasn't that a thing in medieval times when boredom levels were off the charts? But here we are in the 21st century with what looks like a bear-human wrestling match for sheer amusement. I guess we've not seen it all yet. Though I don't approve, you have to admit it's impressive that the man was able to hold the weight of the creature as long as he did. You're probably wondering why we're showing you someone's bedroom, right? Well, wait a sec. And there it is. Do you hear those loud banging or knocking sounds? This has apparently been going on for a while, and the woman was the only one who noticed.
Baby, wake up! What the fuck? What the fuck, baby? Wake up, wake up, wake up. Something just open the door.
The man always seemed to be very deep in sleep anytime something like this happened, and the woman found it weird. They installed a camera to know what was really happening, and this is the result. The man still slept through it. What do you think could be happening here, and why does the man always sleep through it? Some think it's demonic, while others think they're just faking it. What do you think?
Wake up! What the fuck?
In the eerie depths of an abandoned building, a daring explorer stumbled upon a rather unusual scene.
Bueno, quédense tranquilos.
In the backyard of this building were 5 wooden chairs meticulously arranged in a circle, facing each other. While this may look ordinary to some, something strange occurs in the middle of that circle of chairs. Dried leaves, seemingly guided by an unseen force, twirled in a haunting dance, forming a perfect circle. The unnatural choreography of these leaves raises a chilling question. Was the arrangement of these chairs a purposeful attempt to create a vortex, a mysterious portal, or a focal point for paranormal energy? The concept of a vortex, thought by some to be a swirling gateway between dimensions, could explain the eerie movement of the leaves at the center. Such occurrences are often linked to supernatural events and paranormal activity. Do you think there's something paranormal really happening here, or are we simply overthinking and blowing things out of proportion? Share your thoughts. If you haven't already hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment so far, could you please do so now? It goes a long way to help us make more of these videos for you. Thank you so much. Now back to today's episode. Is nature now playing magic tricks on us? A man was driving by a field when he noticed something strange. As he looked through his window, he saw a brush burning, so he parked to check it out. But that's where things get odd. When he looked out this time, the fire was gone. When he went back into the car and looked out through his glass window, he noticed the fire. But when he tried to use his naked eyes, there was simply nothing there. I mean, how is this even possible? The thing is, well, we don't know, but even David Blaine could never stop or explain this strange phenomenon. Oh my goodness, humanity is doomed. Just take a look at this footage. If you've not seen the movie Life, then you'll not understand why I'm panicking. This dark mass attempting to swallow the crab, and it reminds me of Calvin from the movie. I mean, it just looks the same. Fingers crossed that it's just a case of internet trickery, because if not, we might be looking at a real-life remake of Life, and that's a horror scenario none of us have signed up for. Naturally, I did some digging around and discovered that there's a possibility of it being a marine flatworm. If you don't know anything about these creatures, perhaps you may want to go back and look them up now before you find yourself exclaiming, "We are Venom!" On that note, if you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed to the channel yet, please do so now before I send that creature after you. On a more serious note, it really helps us out a ton and gives us the opportunity to keep making these videos for you. Please do so and share this video with your friends and family. Thank you very much. Next, take a look at this footage that was taken from a farmer's trail camera. On a peaceful night at the farm, a single cow stands, appearing captivated by something. As you watch the video, you see the cow's head tracking an unseen presence. Suddenly, a ghostly figure moves by the cow and then vanishes into the night. A closer look at the footage, and you realize that this ghostly figure looks like a man on a horse, but how? How's that even possible? Aaron thinks it might be the ghost of a rider who may have passed on with his horse in that area. Something like your distressed ghost that can't find peace and is condemned to roam the earth until it does. Julius, however, thinks that's false. He thinks it could just be a man on a horse that's out of focus on a night cam capture. To be fair, cameras struggle at night when it comes to low-light conditions and videos, but what are your thoughts on this? A ghost or the result of a not-so-focused camera capturing an individual on a horse? Please do share your thoughts. On a bright, sunlit day, an unsuspecting woman found herself being confronted by an eerie and mysterious sight. There on the wall of that building is the unmistakable silhouette of a person's shadow. Do you see it? That's definitely not your ordinary shadow. No, this one stands out, and there's no one around to cast it. We double-checked to see if it was painted, and no, it's not a painted mural or a trick of the light either. It's a genuine shadow that seems to have a life of its own. How is this plausible? Well, it's not. We believe there's got to be something supernatural going on here. Aaron thinks we may be dealing with a shadow person. For those unfamiliar with the term, a shadow person is a term used in folklore to refer to a dark, shadowy figure that looks like a person, just like we're seeing in the footage. There's, however, not been evidence of their existence until this clip. What do you think? Genuine or fabricated? A Trailcam owner was startled when he came across an image on his device. Not knowing what it was, he posted the image to Facebook, hoping to get the opinion of others. The picture in question is this image that you see on your screen. You can see a dog-like creature standing on its two legs. The creature had a pair of eerily glowing eyes and was staring straight into the camera. Facebook users were left with a flood of theories on what this could be. While others held the notion that it was a dog man, others said this could be a possessed canine, and some truly believed it was a goblin of sorts. So what do you guys also think this is? Imagine buying a pet turtle and coming home one day to see it floating above your tiled floor. What on earth is this, and are animals now learning spells too? If you look closely around its legs, you may see what looks like rags holding them. But look again. Do you see it now? They look like mini humans swimming with it. Are these the beings responsible for the strange things that we are seeing? Or is the turtle their master and they're simply there to do what it desires? It's hard to say, and we couldn't find anything of this sort in our paranormal books. Can anyone amongst you help us with any explanation? Next, let's dive into the fascinating world of these hard-working insects. Take a look at this dynamic duo of ants, determinedly hauling a tiny SIM card through the maze of cracks in a wall. But what could possibly drive these tiny messengers to undertake such a peculiar mission? Could they be harboring a secret telecommunication network within their covert hideout, relying on a SIM card for connectivity? It's a captivating idea that these ants might be the unseen masterminds of a miniature technological empire. Imagine a bustling ant metropolis where information seamlessly flows through their own version of cyberspace, all facilitated by the humble SIM card clutched in their tiny mandibles. That's actually a scary thought. But why do you think these ants are stealing these SIM cards? A group of kids, curious and courageous, rush into a farmland drawn by mysterious noises echoing from within. Just as they approach, the source of the commotion takes off at warp speed straight into the clouds. And what do they discover? A flattened maize field and a UFO zipping across the sky. UFO sights have become so common these days, it feels like any moment from now we'll see aliens knocking at our front doors to ask for a glass of water. As much as I love alien clips and want to believe this is real and authentic, it just feels very unreal. It looks like one of those amateur student films, which makes me believe someone created this looking for their 5 minutes of fame. Given we featured this clip on the channel, it's safe to say they've achieved their aim. Once again, we're faced with a spectacle that leaves us questioning Mother Nature. A boat that set sail to catch fish came across a mysterious passenger. This invited passenger came disguised as a catfish, but when one of the men aboard went poking at it, this so-called catfish, instead of fins, had crab claws. Realizing this is not a typical member of the ocean dwellers, the man decided to push the fish back into the water. But it looked like it actually enjoyed being out of the water and wanted to teach the man a lesson or two before going back. Now the question is, what type of fish are we dealing with here? I mean, it's not every day you see a fish with crab claws for fins, so how is this even possible? Unless this is a species on its own or a mudfish and a crab interbred, I don't know what the logical explanation for this could be. Do you? The woods seem to get more dangerous as the days go by, and even hiking alone has become a problem. I know you would be wondering why I'm saying that. To answer, let's take a look at this next clip. Out in the woods, a hiker found himself lost and trying to navigate his way back when he noticed something approaching. Assuming it was a panther, he decided to hide. However, as the creature drew nearer, it turned out to be something even more perplexing. The creature had a face that resembled a dog, a long snout and dark fur. What made it peculiar was its posture. It was standing on its hind legs. Lucky it seemed preoccupied and didn't notice the hiker just a few steps away. What type of creature could that be? Naturally, a dog, man, or a werewolf comes to mind. This fortunate hiker went out innocently for a walk, but for his keen observation skills, he would never have returned home. And that leaves us asking one simple question. Are we not safe hiking anymore? In the heart of the Amazon rainforest, a captivating and mystifying scene unfolded as someone managed to capture a mesmerizing sight from a distance. Among the thick cluster of trees, a red orb appeared, rising gracefully as if emerging from the heart of the lush vegetation. This glowing spectacle resembled a fiery flame. But what could it be? There are indigenous beliefs and folklore that often speak of nature spirits and guardians dwelling in the depths of the jungle. Could this be one of them? Aaron seems to think so. Julius, being the more practical one, offers a different interpretation. He suggests that what we are seeing could be a flare from someone in a distressing situation, or perhaps the light of a drone at work. You've seen the clip. What do you also think? Nature has a way of surprising us, turning the everyday into something extraordinary. Someone found this insect on a wall. From afar, it might look like your everyday large, winged and flying insect, but a closer look at it and you'll realize something's off about this insect. It looks like it's got a man's face. If you're familiar with the Conjuring universe, you know that this looks like Valak, but it's just a moth, so how? Is this a case of pareidolia because I was watching the Conjuring universe recently, or is there some merit to my claim? Guys, what do you think? A man captured something strange going on outside his house on his security camera. It all began when he spotted a dark figure standing in the middle of the road opposite his house. This dark figure looks like a person on a black road. As this stranger stood there facing the house, a car light began to reflect, indicating that a car was approaching. Naturally, he expected the strange person to get off the road, but the person just stood there unmoving until something bizarre happened. The car passed right through it, making the homeowner alarmed. However, the dark figure was still in place. Disturbed by what he'd seen, the homeowner came out to see for himself, which he figured was still there. Unfortunately, or rather fortunately, as soon as he steps out, the entity disappears. If it had not been caught on camera, no one would believe him. Our next footage is one of the reasons why we shouldn't mess around in the woods. This video was taken by an adventurer who went into the woods at night. I don't know about the reason why he did this, but I'm sure he's never going near the forest for a while. As he was roaming, he caught sight of this hideous creature in the woods. The creature had strange burnt-like skin. Its fingers were clawed and its ears were pointed. I don't know, but if you ask me, it looks like some sort of demonic dwarf. Naturally, our adventurer who saw this creature did not waste any more time there. He left as fast as his tired legs would allow him. I mean, who knows what else was roaming the woods, and who knows what their response to his presence could be. Either way, does any of you know with certainty what this is, or do I need to hit the paranormal books?
It's a plane flying low over people's homes, scanning the ground with that green laser.
In recent times, a series of peculiar events have left communities puzzled and with more questions than answered. One such mysterious incident unfolded in Cape Coral, Florida, where residents were both bewildered and alarmed by a strange craft hovering across their skies. The most disturbing part of this is the vibrant green laser beam that emanates from the craft, sweeping across the earth below like a scanner. This went on for days until the locals had enough and contacted authorities for answers, but their replies were unclear and they provided little information about the strange flying object's origin or purpose. This has led to various guesses and ideas about what it could be. Some suggest that the flying object could be on a mission to map the landscape, trying to study and learn about the terrain below. On the other hand, different theories propose a mysterious purpose, perhaps one with an origin that lies in the secret service of the government. It's a stretch, but how else do we explain this? Anyway, share your thoughts on what you think this could be.
Told me not only do their planes fly during the day, they also don't use green lasers.
Hold on to your hiking boots because there's a mountain mystery unfolding at the Lone Peak Mountains. A resident sees a figure casually walking up the mountain, moving with eerie ease. Now here's the twist. It looks almost human, but with the size and build that's definitely not human. A quick zoom and it's clear this isn't your typical mountain hiker. Given the area is notorious for Bigfoot sightings, the individual concluded that we may just be dealing with the elusive cryptid. He couldn't follow or get any closer, so we'll have to make do with this clip. What do you think, though? Could it really be a Bigfoot, or is he just seeing what he wants to see? There are theories that before the human race, there were beings that roamed the earth, some half human and half animal. These beings were later worshipped as gods on earth. So when scientists discovered this mummy locked in a box in a Japanese temple, they were curious to find out what this creature could be. Obviously, they could see that the creature was half human and half fish. But how? Despite probing and researching and asking questions, they can't find any scientific basis for the existence of this creature. This leaves us with questions. Could it be a spiritual being materialized, which is why they can't find anything on it, or are we looking at an elaborate hoax passed down for centuries? Well, no one knows for sure. Before you watch the next clip, could you please hit the like button, subscribe, and even drop a comment if you haven't already? It goes a long way to make it possible to create more videos like this for you. Thank you for doing so. Moving back to the day's episode, kangaroos are such bullies in wildlife. They will just grab onto anything that comes toward them. Take a look at the situation here. A man went out with his 3 dogs when he realized one was missing. He went searching for it when he spotted it in the river under the tight grip of a kangaroo. He held onto the dog's neck so tightly in the water that the dog was getting out of breath. Luckily, the owner came right on time to rescue his pet, but not after his phone got smacked into the water and the kangaroo attempted to attack him as well. But he did come out safely with all 3 dogs, except for one panting for breath, and the owner ended up with a few scratches from the kangaroo's claws. The mystery deepens with our next clip. Take a look at this recent TikTok video showing a strange scene captured by a daughter's boyfriend during his morning commute.
Oops. That's freaking weird, man.
Isn't it?
Yeah, like there's someone else taking a picture.
The video reveals a bird hanging in the sky, seemingly frozen in time. What makes it even more peculiar is not just the bird's lack of movement, but also its odd sideways position. While some might think that birds sometimes spread their wings to take a break mid-flight, this is definitely not how they rest mid-flight. The unusual stillness of the bird raises a lot of questions. How could a bird stay suspended in such a peculiar way, going against gravity and the usual dynamics of bird flight? There's no logical answer to this, which brings us to another question. Could it be a glitch in the Matrix? I mean, what else explains a bird getting stuck mid-flight like it's paused in a video game or a movie? Think about it.
I'm ready to drive.
Yeah. What if it just dropped all of a sudden? Wouldn't that be freaky?
Okay, well, let's go before it just drops on us. So weird.
Under the tranquil veil of night, another TikToker stumbled upon a sight that was both enchanting and enigmatic. A beam of orange light pierced through the darkness, delicately kissing the earth below. But this was no celestial event or distant star. It was the captivating display of artillery illumination rounds. At least, that's what Julius would have us believe.
On the parts that aren't dark.
Dude, that shit is fucking tripping me out.
These rounds, commonly employed in military operations, serve as a dual purpose, illuminating the night sky to enhance visibility and exposing the surrounding terrain. The orange glow, set against the inky backdrop of the night, created a surreal atmosphere, transforming the ordinary into something otherworldly and mesmerizing. I know this explanation doesn't convince you, but that's what skeptics like Julius are pushing. The believers in the paranormal like Aaron, however, believe we could be looking at a portal to another dimension or a rift of some sort. Instead of stating my stance on the subject, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think?
The phone doesn't even do it justice of what we're seeing.
Oh, there's another one.
Yeah, they're falling out of the sky. Look, that one's just sitting there.
The rate at which mythical creatures are making an appearance these days is alarming. In this footage, a man filmed 2 men in yellow protective gear from head to toe coming toward a river. The men were holding a net, but their attire was not something you would wear to a fishing trip unless something fishy was going on. So the person filming hid himself as he watched the men walk into the shallow part of the water to retrieve something. They caught it in the net and brought it to land. As they put the creature down, something curious happened. A long fishtail resembling that of a stereotypical mermaid fell down. Did these men just catch a mermaid? Looking at the color of its tail, I'm tempted to ask, what if the creature and things we saw in The Little Mermaid are not as unreal as we think they are? What if these creatures are actually out there and a danger to us? Whilst we try to find answers to the previous footage, I believe that the next footage will leave your jaw dropping to the ground. And I mean literally. A person found these strange things floating around his brother's house. They looked like smoke, but they were oddly luminous and in weird shapes. The thing, however, is that they seemed like they were frozen in time, and you and I know that's not how smoke looks or functions. According to him, they suddenly appeared in the house. When you study the footage, there's no justification for something like that existing. The man swears it's not a hoax and certainly not CGI because they don't have the expertise, skills, or money for that. So what do you think we're dealing with here? A homeowner sets up some security cameras around her house, just for peace of mind, pretty standard stuff. But then she's reviewing the footage and catches something seriously bizarre. There's this thing sprinting across a driveway by a car. It's only about 3 feet tall, but has these freaky skinny legs, and its head is totally out of proportion, like a big bulbous thing on a little body. The midsection was harder to make out, just looked kind of dark and shadowy. She slows down the footage to get a better look, and that's when it gets even weirder. This creature, whatever it is, has a body structure that's almost bird-like. Thin legs, seemingly lightweight frame, but the way it's moving is unmistakably human-like. Confident, purposeful strides. It's like, beats me, I'm some sort of human-bird hybrid. Such things aren't supposed to exist, well, are there? So what could we be looking at then? A real-life genetic experiment gone haywire? Some bizarre undiscovered species that blends human and bird traits? It's hard to say at this point, but what are your thoughts on this?
Oh my God.
A guy captures not one, but 2 moons in the sky, with one trailing behind the other. We're not talking about atmospheric illusions or misty reflections. These are actual moons sharing the celestial space. But how? The truth is, no one knows for certain. Can you help? Julius wants to sit out of this one and wants to see what you guys can come up with. Share your thoughts in the comments section. And for our final entry, we have a clip sent in by one of you, and we're going to decode it together. James, a subscriber, recently shared an intriguing incident that occurred last October in the northern panhandle of Idaho near Priest Lake. While flying his drone, James noticed an unusual object on the far right of the screen that he couldn't identify. Upon closer inspection, he observed a strange hairy face hidden among the trees below. If you pay attention to the image on your screen, you should see what appears to be a mysterious figure, possibly covering its face. Naturally, James shared this incident with many people, including law enforcement officials, but no one has been able to provide a satisfactory explanation for what he captured. Can you help? What do you see when you look at the clip? A Bigfoot or something else entirely? Please share them with us in the comments section. And with that, we end today's episode. Thanks for staying with us. Oh yeah, before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. Share this video with someone you love, and we'll see you in the next one.